Hello and good day, this is Scott with Wet Edge, and I'd like to welcome you to another product information video. This one for our latest and greatest, newest offering, the Signature Matrix. Now in this video, we'll not only be talking about the benefits or things that you may need to consider if you're going to choose the Signature Matrix, but we'll also discuss briefly the idea or the reasoning that went into the design and development of this product. Alright, so what is the Signature Matrix? Well, simply put, it's a pebble finish where we've taken both our satin or small size pebble and our pearl or larger size aggregate and blended them together. And when we mix the two sizes, what we found is that we can offer a pebble finish that not only gives you the look of a larger or pearl sized pebble, but it also gives you the feel or the texture that's typically been ascribed to with our satin or smaller size pebble surface. And the reason I know we can say that is for a couple of reasons. 4 years ago, we introduced our Prism Matrix line, which is our pebble that's been blended with glass bead accent. And the aggregate that's actually used in the Prism Matrix colors is a combination of the two sizes of pebble we sell. And we've had great success with it. So for the past 4 years, our applicators have been installing these colors, and over that time, they have come back to us and given us feedback that they've actually found it easier to compact the pebble as compared to or opposed to when they just do a small or mini size pebble. So for the past 2 years, that's led a handful of our applicators to start offering a third line of pebble, in addition to our satin and pearl lines. And that third line, which we're now calling the Signature Matrix, has just been that, a combination of the two sizes of our satin and pearl pebble, and it's been very well received. So up until now, the industry standard has been to segregate the smaller pebble from the large pebble in order to be able to offer two separate and distinct lines. And while most will acknowledge or concede that they actually like the look of the larger pebble, it's been without question that a vast majority of the sales have actually gone to the smaller pebble. And this is primarily due to the belief that in pebble finishes, the smaller the aggregate, the smoother the finish will be. We want to break through that myth that smaller means smoother, because there are actually two things that will largely determine whether a pebble surface will be considered either rough or smooth. And the first one being that it's not the size of the aggregate, it's the shape. And secondly, and arguably more importantly, is how well has that pebble been compacted. And I don't mean to belabor this point, but it's critical. It's important that you understand that without good, consistent compaction, the size of the aggregate is irrelevant. So you see that when the compaction is loose, it creates gaps or voids in between the pebbles, which can cause or create a sensation of that surface feeling rough. Furthermore, if the aggregate that has been used in a finish has been crushed, that perception or sense of roughness is actually magnified. So consequently, we at Wet Edge choose only to use beach or river pebbles that have not been crushed in a majority of the colors within each and every one of our pebble surfaces. So when you blend the regular and mini size pebbles together, you're introducing a wider range of pebble sizing into the matrix, which when troweled come together like the interlocking pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, leaving less voids or gaps in between each pebble, which in turn will give a pebble surface not only better compaction, but a better and more pleasing texture as well. In fact, civil engineers support and validate our position on this matter, because most civil engineering firms will tell you that there are distinct benefits and advantages of having a varied gradation of aggregate within a cementitious mix. So that wider range of pebble sizing, which is designed into the Signature Matrix, not only improves the compaction and refines the texture, it also enhances the overall look or appearance of the pebble surface. That's because when those voids that naturally occur between larger aggregates are filled by the smaller pebbles within the matrix, that creates less area or minimizes those areas where the cement or color can be seen. And when you have less cement or color visible at the surface, the overall exposure of the aggregate appears more consistent and even. And having less cement at the surface also means that you will experience fewer cosmetic and staining issues as well. Now I realize I may have painted a wonderful picture of the Signature Matrix, and it is, but as with all things related to pool finishes, there usually are a few things you need to consider. And with pebble surfaces, it usually boils down to two things, the texture and the cost. Now in regards to the texture, I personally love the feeling of a pebble surface, but if you are one who equates any kind of texture as being rough, then I really couldn't recommend any of our pebble surfaces to you. I'd rather encourage you to take a look at our polish series, the Primera Stone, which leaves the cost. And usually with pebble products, there are higher costs associated with them compared to, let's say, a plaster or quartz surface. So that means only you can determine whether having all the benefits which a pebble surface like Signature Matrix provides you with is worth it. Now, while a plaster or quartz surface may be more affordable, a Signature Matrix surface will look better longer or age more gracefully. It will have fewer cosmetic issues, it's more durable, and it's easier in startup to maintain. So does all of that provide you with enough value for the investment you're about to make? Well, there you have it. That's our Signature Matrix, the only pebble finish on the market that provides you the best of both pebble worlds. The look or the natural look of the regular or larger pebble, but with the touch or feel of the smaller mini pebble. And as always, thank you for your time and consideration. From all of us at Wet Edge, your pool finish resource.